As coaches, we face the challenge of transforming ideas into real performance that a drill is not just an activity, it's a learning environment. This course is about designing training situations that develop understanding, decision-making, and consistency. Our goal is simple: to help you build drills that truly teach the game. In this module, we are going to understand how drills are created and why they work. The goal is to move beyond simply running exercises and learn how to design training situations that actually develop game performance. Decision-making and confidence will be why mastering these principles. We transform every drill into a meaningful learning experience. This session is an opportunity to pause, step back, and look at how we teach. Instead of adding more drills to our toolbox, we are here to sharpen how we think about practice. When we design training with clarity and intention, athletes improve faster, communication becomes easier, and the game becomes more enjoyable for everyone. Let's begin by rethinking the way we build our training sessions. When we talk about drills, we are not simply referring to repeated exercises. A drill is the bridge between theory and practice, a structured activity designed with a clear purpose to transform concepts into meaningful learning opportunities. A well-designed drill is more than movement. It guides athletes step by step toward better performance, helping them internalize skills, develop understanding, and apply what they learn effectively in game situations. A drill only has true value when it has direction, when it is created with intention, connected to the reality of the game, and when it challenges players to think, decide, and execute. Our mission as coaches is to transform practice into a pathway where skills are not only repeated, but truly learned, adapted, and performed with confidence in real game situations. Factors that affects drill design. Learning principles remind us that a drill provides a framework for practice, but does not automatically guarantee learning. For learning to occur, the drill must be carefully structured, clear in its purpose, specific in its goals, and varied in its format. The maturity, physical ability, and learning capacity of each athlete must be respected. Another key point is timing. Research shows that athletes retain the most at the beginning and the end of practice sessions, so these moments are crucial. Finally, the balance between active learning and non-active moments, such as explanation, demonstration, or brief pauses, plays a central role in helping players absorb and truly understand what they practice. Principles that guide drill design. Research and experience show us that drills are most effective when they're structured, simple, specific, and variable, adaptable. 5 principles make a real difference. Ability level. Every drill should match the readiness of the athlete. Maturity, physical ability, and mental capacity determine how far and how fast learning can go. Active learning. For athletes to absorb skills, drills should maintain at least 65% of active participation. This means more time playing, moving, and engaging, and less time waiting, listening, or standing still. Short explanations, quick demonstrations, and efficient organization are key. Learning efficiency. Athletes learn best at the beginning and at the end of practice. These are the golden windows, where coaches should highlight the most important points, provide corrections, and reinforce key skills. Perfection. Quality must come before quantity. Drills should aim for precise, correct execution that gradually become consistent and automatic, while still allowing room for individual playing styles. Motivation, clear goals, variety, and a positive environment increase focus and effort. When athletes see progress and enjoy the challenge, learning accelerates and commitment grows. By respecting these principles, practice becomes a powerful learning tool instead of just repetition. An effective drill is not improvised. It has a structure, a purpose, clear rules, and a plan for how actions will unfold. Coaches must decide what skills will be emphasized, what feedback will be provided, and how success will be measured. A good drill combines repetition of key techniques with enough variability to connect those skills to the game. This transforms isolated practice into a learning experience that develops decision-making, speed of execution, and tactical awareness. The learning cycle: input, decision, output, feedback. Every repetition in practice follows the same cycle. Input: what the athlete perceives, ball flight, body position of teammates, the opponent's movements. Decision: interpreting that information and choosing the right action. Output: the motor response, the actual skill execution. Feedback: the result of the action and the corrections given, which reinforce learning. When drills are designed with this cycle in mind, athletes learn not only the skill itself, but how to recognize, decide, and execute in realistic situations. Goal development. Effective drills are designed around clear objectives. Goals provide direction, motivation, and a sense of achievement, where success builds confidence and learning. Research highlights that performance-oriented, intrinsic goals give athletes purpose and lasting drive. Each drill should include measurable objectives tied to game-like situations, focusing on conditioning, skill development, and tactical execution. Skill introduction. Introducing a new skill is not just about showing movements. It is about creating clarity and meaning. Athletes need to know what the skill is, why it matters, and how it connects to the game. The first step is always a correct demonstration, once at normal speed, and then more slowly so players can see the key details. Short cue words guide attention and help athletes remember. We must keep in mind that the ear retains only about 1/10 of what is said, while the eyes and body retain much more. That is why athletes learn best when they see, visualize, and practice immediately after the demonstration. Skill introduction should follow a simple progression. The coach shows, athletes repeat together, and then perform independently. Visual models, diagrams, or video can reinforce what was demonstrated. Short key words like left, left, jump in the three-step approach, or high ball, square shoulders in setting, create strong anchors for execution. Each repetition should be paired with quick, specific feedback, focusing on 1 or 2 corrections at a time. Too many instructions at once overwhelm and delay learning. Modeling strengthens this process. Athletes learn faster and retain better when they observe a correct model of the skill being executed. Demonstrations, diagrams, and short video clips help connect the mental image with the motor action required. This connection transforms observation into reinforcement, giving athletes a clear picture of what correct execution looks like and how it should feel. When athletes can visualize the movement, they create stronger neural pathways that support motor learning. In the end, introducing a skill is about clarity, focus, and connection. When athletes know what to do, why to do it, and how it helps them play better, practice becomes more than training. It becomes learning with purpose. Skill development. Developing a skill means guiding athletes from basic execution to confident performance under game conditions. In the early stages, beginners and less experienced players need simplicity, fewer cues, fewer steps, and more repetition of the core movement. As they progress, drills should gradually increase in complexity, adding combinations, timing, and tactical decision-making. Effective skill development follows a principled progression. Move from simple to complex and from isolated movement to game-like execution. To help athletes succeed, coaches should use the KISS principle. Keep it simple and specific. Each drill must focus on one clear technical demand, so players know exactly what is expected and can measure their own improvement. Technical execution can be reinforced by briefly reviewing previously learned skills before introducing a new one. For example, when teaching the spike within a pass, set, hit sequence, coaches may quickly review the pass and the set before focusing on the attack. This review creates a smoother transition and strengthens retention. It is also important to separate technical correction from tactical play. During a match or tactical drill, players should not stop to adjust arm swing or footwork. Correction belong in technical training. Tactical contexts require players to make decisions and apply skills as they are. This separation keeps practice efficient and mirrors the reality of competition. Skill development, therefore, is about clarity, progression, and purpose. Start simple, add complexity step by step, and connect each stage to real game performance. That is how athletes progress from repetition to mastery. Game like drills. Drills have the greatest impact when they closely mirror the real game. If we isolate skills for too long, we risk limiting learning. The most effective approach is to design progressions that reproduce the same demands athletes will face in competition. In game-like drills, players do more than train technique. They also develop perception, decision-making, and tactical adaptation, exactly as required in match play. For drills to be effective, they must follow some essential principles. They cannot be just isolated repetitions, but progressions that prepare players for real scenarios. Tactical demands must be included, forcing athletes to make decisions under pressure. Correct spacing, speed, and timing are non-negotiable, since every movement connects to court positioning and team interaction. All actions must be performed with game-like intensity, agility, and dynamics, requiring players to adapt their movements to the real tempo of play. Another key element is stimulus, response compatibility. Athletes must learn to read cues and react immediately. For example, if the blocker shifts inside, the hitter must respond by attacking down the line. Well-designed drills create these conditions, training perception, anticipation, and fast execution, bringing practice closer to competition reality. A true game-like drill should also follow a three-part structure. Preceding action, the preparation, movement to the ball, base position, or transition from defense to attack. Main action, the core skill, serve, pass, set, attack, block, or dig. Concluding action, the immediate follow-up, coverage, repositioning, or reading the next play. This sequence ensures practice does not begin in artificial conditions, but always in motion, as it does in the game. Effective drills must also present real game problems. Handling out-of-system balls, attacking against a double block, adapting to different serve trajectories, or responding to speed variations. Adding situational pressure, such as simulating a 23-24 score, requiring a streak of successful executions, or applying time limits, teaches players to maintain focus and consistency in decisive moments. Another essential factor is measurement. Every drill should include observable objectives, such as accuracy rate, efficiency in coverage, rally control, or defensive positioning. Scoring systems that reward both technical execution and tactical decision-making make practice more realistic and competitive. In summary, game-like drills are not just technical exercises. They are opportunities to teach athletes to think, decide, and execute in real time. This bridge between practice and competition is what transforms isolated skills into reliable performance on the court. Efficient learning in volleyball depends on the principle of specificity. To truly prepare athletes for competition, drills must reproduce the same demands they will face during matches. This means not only repeating technical skills, but also including execution, timing, game pace, and decision-making under pressure. The most effective practice situations are those that resemble real play, where the context forces athletes to respond as they would in competition. Another key point concerns the type of skill being trained. A closed skill is executed in a stable and predictable environment, such as an attack without opposition, where the movement can be repeated consistently. In contrast, an open skill takes place in a dynamic and constantly changing context, such as serve reception or defensive actions, where the athlete must adjust to the speed, trajectory, and tactical choices of the opponent. Volleyball is, for the most part, an open skill sport, which means that training must reflect this variability to ensure effective transfer into performance. In addition, the athlete must continually train the specific demands of their position, including the same muscle groups, motor patterns, and speed requirements they will use in competition. A defensive player, for example, needs to repeatedly practice the situation specific to their role until responses become automatic and efficient, even in open and variable environments. This ensures that when the situation changes quickly, as it does in volleyball, the athlete can automatically transfer the technique and make the correct decision without having to consciously think through every movement. That is why technical execution should become automatic, allowing athletes to focus their attention on reading the game and making tactical decisions. A player who trains under conditions that simulate the real demands of the match, anticipating the opponent's serve, adapting to block, or adjusting to unpredictable ball trajectories, will be better prepared than one who only repeats isolated movements. Ultimately, specificity reminds coaches that every drill must answer a simple question: does this activity really look and feel like the game? If not, its value is limited. True improvement occurs when the training environment reflects the pressures, speed, and variability of competition. This is the essence of the law of specificity, transforming practice into reliable performance under real conditions. Repetition is one of the key elements of motor learning and reliable performance. For a new skill to be retained, it must be practiced enough times to be stored in long-term memory, so that it can be performed automatically when needed. This process does not occur through trial and error alone. It requires correct, structured, and meaningful practice. However, repetition without quality can be inefficient or even harmful. Practicing errors only reinforces incorrect patterns, while correct repetitions, guided by feedback, strengthen proper execution. What matters is not just volume, but the number of correct repetitions performed with focus and precision. Finding the right balance between quantity and quality is essential for real progress. Another critical concept is the acceptable standard of execution. Repetition is only valuable when the athlete is required to maintain proper form, even under fatigue, distraction, or pressure. A skill can only be considered reliable once it can be performed accurately in these demanding conditions. Timing also influences retention. Research shows that much of the information provided can be lost within about 60 seconds if it is not practiced immediately. For this reason, instruction should be short and precise, supported by key cues, and followed right away by execution while memory is still fresh. Overlearning, practicing beyond the point of initial correctness, is what creates automaticity. These additional repetitions build stability and resilience, ensuring the skill holds under stress, fatigue, and competitive pressure. In summary, repetition is not about performing movements mindlessly. It is about practicing with focus, intensity, and quality for the correct number of times until performance reaches a stable and automatic level. This is what makes skills reliable under real match conditions. The way practice is distributed plays a decisive role in how skills are learned, retained, and transferred to the game. The number of repetitions should not be left to chance, but planned according to the athlete's training level, the intensity of the activity, and the objectives of the session. The goal is balance. Enough repetition to reinforce the skill, but not so much that fatigue and loss of focus compromise execution. Research shows that distributed practice, alternating work and rest, produces stronger and more durable learning than mass practice. Rest periods allow physical and mental recovery, helping athletes maintain precision and intensity across repetitions. The intensity and duration of each work segment should match the demands of the skill. Explosive actions like attacking and blocking are best trained in short, high-intensity bursts of 5 to 10 seconds, followed by recovery. Skills requiring continuous rhythm, such as passing or defensive movement, may last longer, but only while quality remains high. A widely accepted guideline is a 1 to 2 to 1 to 4 work-to-rest ratio. For example, 15 seconds of intense work followed by 30 to 60 seconds of rest maintains game-like intensity without losing accuracy or decision-making. Advanced players can maintain quality longer due to efficiency and refined control, while younger or less experienced athletes require shorter work periods and more frequent rest. Practice distribution must match the stage of development. In summary, distributed practice enhances skill retention, reduces fatigue-related errors and injury risk, and increases training efficiency. Shorter, more frequent sessions with structured recovery are more effective than long, continuous drills that lead to declining performance. Skill evaluation. Once a skill has been introduced, explained, and demonstrated, the athlete must actively attempt to perform it. At this stage, evaluation becomes essential because it determines whether the execution is effective and whether the intended goals are being achieved. Learning depends on continuous analysis, correction, and reinforcement. Skill evaluation serves multiple purposes. It gives the coach evidence of progress. It guides the athlete's self-awareness and identifies technical or tactical errors. A clear evaluation structure allows strengths to be reinforced, weaknesses to be corrected, and ensures every drill contributes to measurable improvement. There are 2 key dimensions of evaluation: knowledge of performance and knowledge of results. Knowledge of performance refers to how the action was executed, such as the arm swing, the timing of the approach, or the setter's footwork. Knowledge of results refers to the outcome, whether the spike scored, the pass target was reached, or the defensive action prevented a point. Feedback should be specific, immediate, and constructive, instead of general comments. Athletes benefit from precise cues such as contact the ball earlier or adjust your base position before the read. Positive reinforcement strengthens correct actions, while targeted corrections support improvement without discouraging effort. Evaluation must also consider tactical integration. A defender is not evaluated only on digging technique, but on their ability to read the attacker, position correctly, and transition into the next action. In summary, evaluation is not just about checking correctness. It is a continuous process that transforms repetition into learning. When feedback is consistent, detailed, and purposeful, athletes develop technical precision, tactical awareness, and the ability to perform confidently under competitive pressure. Designing effective drills. The development of drills begins with a clear principle. The coach must define the learning or performance objective, and then design or select exercises that serve that purpose. Simply repeating movements mechanically is not enough. Each drill must have a technical or tactical function that moves the athlete closer to the demands of real match play. To achieve this, drill planning should follow practical operational criteria. Remove unnecessary elements. Control player movement patterns on the court, adjust intensity and resistance to match physical and cognitive capacity, keep group sizes efficient, and maintain high motivation. Competition between groups or ending drills on a positive result can help sustain engagement. Drills should also stop while intensity is still high, and generally last 15 to 20 minutes to avoid performance decline caused by fatigue or loss of focus. Time management is a decisive factor. Effective coaches calculate the available training time and compare it to the optimal work required for learning. Training should be segmented so each drill receives a defined time frame and a target number of quality repetitions. This aligns with the law of diminishing returns. Practicing beyond the optimal point offers little improvement and may even hinder progress. Quality matters more than quantity. Well-established routines also make training more efficient. When players know the sequence and rhythm of the session, less time is wasted and more time is spent performing, adapting, and improving. Instruction should be short, precise, and supported by clear visual demonstration, allowing athletes to learn through doing, not through extended explanation. Court organization and flow. Organization on the court is essential. The number of players, their starting positions, and the sequence of execution all affect training efficiency. Player-centered drills, where athletes execute the key actions while the coach observes and provides feedback, create more realistic and game-like conditions than coach-centered drills. They develop leadership, accountability, and autonomy, qualities required in real match play. The coach's role is to design these situations, manage the flow, and provide feedback at strategic moments. In practice, this requires attention to small but critical tasks, collecting balls quickly to keep the pace high, feeding balls with accuracy, or adjusting tempo so that each athlete gets meaningful repetition without excessive waiting. These details maintain intensity and ensure continuous learning. Drill success must also be tied to measurable outcomes. Clear criteria, such as accuracy, execution quality, or performance under scoring constraints, allow both athletes and coaches to track progress objectively. Since volleyball is a point-scoring sport, training should reflect that reality by incorporating goals and scoring that connect directly to competition. In short, well-designed drills combine time efficiency, intensity, clear roles, and measurable goals. When applied effectively, they do more than teach technique. They develop decision-making, emotional regulation, and the ability to transfer skills seamlessly into real match performance. Success criteria. Success in volleyball training depends on establishing clear conditions and measurable goals that allow athletes and coaches to monitor progress and refine performance. Success criteria connect technical execution with tactical demands, ensuring that skills are performed not only correctly, but effectively under game-like conditions. One effective way to achieve this is through scoring-based game simulations. By structuring drills to reproduce real match situations, playing to 25 points, simulating a 24-24 tie, or working through score phases, such as 9-10, 15-18, or 20-23, athletes experience the same pressure, rhythm, and emotional control required in competition. These scenarios demand execution under stress and challenge athletes to make decisions efficiently. However, these situations must be applied with purpose. If they are too complex or too exhausting, or if they are used excessively, they may become monotonous and lose their value, especially when the scoring task is not aligned with the actual objective of the drill. The measurement must always reflect what we are trying to develop. In summary, success criteria should be clear and easy to understand, be measurable accuracy, efficiency, decision quality, scoring impact, match the goal of the drill, technical, tactical, or competitive, reinforce behaviors that transfer directly to game performance. When success criteria are well designed, they give each drill purpose, give athletes direction, and transform practice into meaningful, quantitative evaluation. Quantitative evaluation provides objective data that measures the efficiency and effectiveness of skill execution. Useful metrics include total number of correct and incorrect repetitions, percentage of successful executions, serve accuracy, hitting efficiency, aces and unforced errors, number of digs, blocks, touches, and defensive actions, number of stuff blocks, direct blocks, soft blocks, deflections, and blocking errors, overall performance efficiency for each skill category. By recording these indicators over time, coaches obtain a clear, objective picture of qualitative evaluation. Qualitative evaluation focuses on how the skill is performed, especially under pressure. It highlights consistency, precision, and the ability to transfer technique into game-like situations. Examples of qualitative indicators include number of technically correct executions, percentage of accurate and repeatable performances, length of consecutive correct sequences. A practical method for applying qualitative evaluation is the use of rating scales. For example, assigning a score from 0 to 10 for each drill segment or game action. These scores can be compared across time between peers or against predetermined performance standards. This approach helps identify technical strengths, recurring errors, and psychological responses under stress. Visual tools such as charts, graphs, or scoreboards can reinforce this feedback and improve motivation, provided that confidentiality and emotional safety are respected. In summary, practice leads to improvement only when the athlete repeats correct execution consistently, under conditions that resemble competition. Qualitative evaluation ensures that training develops not only technique, but also reliability, decision-making, and emotional control. Drill selection begins with a clear understanding of what we want athletes to learn. To organize this process, training drills are traditionally classified into 3 categories, following the official FIB model. These categories correspond to different stages of learning and different levels of complexity within practice. The first category is the introductory or cognitive stage, where drills are analytical. Here, skills are practiced in a controlled and simplified environment, focusing on the mechanics of the movement. The goal is to help the athlete understand how the skill works and to build a foundation for correct execution, without the pressure of speed, opposition, or complex decision-making. The second category is the combination or automatic stage, where drills are synthetic. In this phase, isolated skills are combined into sequences. The athlete begins to execute movements with more fluidity, timing, and rhythm, reducing the need for conscious control. These drills encourage coordination of multiple actions, such as connecting the pass to the set or the set to the attack, while still maintaining structure and clarity. The third category is the advanced or competitive stage, where drills are global or game-like. At this point, training conditions replicate real play. Variable ball trajectories, unpredictable situations, tactical decisions, and competitive scoring. The athlete must use technical skills while reading the game, adapting to speed, and responding under pressure, just as they must in competition. Effective training moves progressively through these 3 categories, from analytical to synthetic and finally to global. This progression ensures that athletes do not simply learn movements, but learn to apply them consistently, efficiently, and with confidence in the real context of the game. Introductory/cognitive drills, I/C, Narraqueo Revisada. The introductory or cognitive stage represents the beginning of skill development, where the athlete first discovers the mechanics of the movement. At this level, drills are analytical and take place under controlled, simplified conditions. The focus is on learning how the body moves in relation to the ball and the court, positioning, balance, coordination, and clean contact. In this stage, tasks are straightforward and precise. The environment is stable, with limited external variability, so the athlete can concentrate on understanding the movement rather than responding to pressure or speed. These drills reinforce the fundamental patterns that will support all later development: body alignment, footwork sequences, arm action, and contact quality. Typical practice in this phase may involve isolated skill execution, such as passing, setting, or serving performed many times with consistent cues, or small, structured partner drills like controlled pepper patterns, where rhythm and mechanics are emphasized over speed or complexity. Segmented teaching is also common here, where athletes practice one piece of skill before combining it into the full motion. Evaluation at this stage is based on clarity and consistency of execution. The goal is not yet to perform under pressure or variability, but to establish stable and repeatable movement patterns. Once these foundations become reliable, the athlete is prepared to transition into more complex, synthetic drills where skills begin to interact with timing, rhythm, and tactical context. Advanced/combination drills, AIC. In advanced or combination drills, the emphasis shifts toward integrating technical accuracy with tactical application. At this stage, athletes are no longer practicing isolated movements. Instead, they execute multiple skills in sequence, under conditions that closely resemble match play. The goal is not only to master technique, but to apply it efficiently and adaptively in variable and unpredictable situations. These drills place athletes in scenarios that require coordinating actions such as serve, receive, set, attack or block, transition, counterattack, demanding precision, fluid timing, and quick adjustment. The rhythm and tempo mirror the realities of competition, helping players develop stability while learning to read cues, anticipate the opponent, and respond under pressure. Advanced drills are built in layers. Athletes may begin by combining 2 previously learned skills, then gradually progress toward more complex and dynamic sequences. The focus is on linking technical execution with tactical decision-making, so that performance becomes automatic and efficient in realistic contexts. Instead of simply performing movements, players are now solving problems. Coaches often introduce situational constraints, such as score pressure, timed rallies, or specific defensive and offensive scenarios, e.g., attacking against a double block or managing out-of-system play. These elements demand quick recognition, decision-making, and execution, reinforcing the athlete's ability to adapt in the moment. Ultimately, advanced/combination drills serve as a bridge between controlled learning environments and full match play. They ensure that skills are stable, transferable, and reliable even under fatigue, stress, and competitive conditions. Competitive/automatic drills, global stage. Competitive or automatic drills represent the highest stage of learning, where skills that have already been stabilized must be executed under full game conditions. At this point, the athlete is no longer thinking about how to perform the technique. Execution must be automatic, while attention is directed toward reading the game, anticipating, and making decisions in real time. These drills reproduce the real structure of play: serve, receive, set, attack, defensive organization, transition, and rally continuation. Variability, unpredictability, and speed are intentionally present. Performance is no longer individual. Success depends on collective coordination of setter, hitters, blockers, defenders, and servers. To reinforce game realism, coaches introduce continuous scoring systems, situational pressure scenarios, e.g., 22-24 win by 2, must score to stay alive, time constraints or rally streak objectives, opponent tactical adjustments, and defensive variation. These conditions recreate the emotional, cognitive, and physical demands of competition. The athlete must not only execute correctly, but understand when, why, and under what pressure to execute. Purpose of the stage: verify technical and tactical efficiency under competition like stress, develop spatial and temporal awareness in relation to the ball, teammates, and opponents, ensure skills and decisions transfer directly and reliably to real match play. Key guideline: train tactically only what you expect the team to execute in actual competition. Instructional design organizes what must be learned and practiced, and defines the procedures needed for efficient performance. It provides structure: what will be taught, how many repetitions, rest intervals, the coach's role, and the variations required to support learning. Each drill should begin with clear administrative guidelines that define its purpose and execution. Name: a short, clear title that reflects the drill's purpose. Type of drill: based on the skill being trained and whether it's player-centered or coach-centered. Intensity: match the movement intensity to the drill's objectives. Skill level: align the drill with the athlete's current developmental stage. Equipment: ensure all necessary equipment is available and functional. Personnel: the number of players determines how the drill is organized. Assistants can feed, shag, or score. Objectives: communicate clear goals before the drill begins. These serve as performance evaluation criteria. Once these elements are defined, behavioral factors guide how the drill is executed. Coaching points: highlight the specific technical or tactical details that must be emphasized during the drill. Concentration keys: use short cues or keywords to help players recall the most important aspects of execution. These cues act as quick reminders and reinforcement. Rotation: establish a planned rotation method, circular, linear, front to back, or game-like, to ensure full participation, maintain organization, and manage fatigue. Instructional design ensures that drills are not simply activities, but structured learning experiences. When clear organization is combined with purposeful feedback and systematic rotation, players learn, reinforce, and apply skills under conditions that reflect real play. Drill structure: the structure of a drill is built on three key elements: theme, tempo, and logical progression. The theme defines the primary goal of the drill. It must be clear, measurable, and directly connected to the demands of the game. For example, the theme may be improving serve, receive under pressure, or refining the transition from block to attack. Every drill should have one central objective that guides execution and evaluation. Tempo refers to the pace and rhythm of the drill. It must support the intended learning effect. Lower tempo is used when introducing new skills. Higher tempo simulates match conditions, requiring faster decision-making and spatial awareness. The coach regulates tempo by adjusting duration, effort, and recovery so that the quality of execution remains high. Logical progression organizes the drill from simple to complex. Skills are first reinforced in controlled situations, then gradually integrated into sequences and game-like play. Purposeful transitions, such as moving from serve to defense or dig to counterattack, help players connect actions in the same flow in which they occur during competition. When drills are designed with a clear theme, appropriate tempo, and logical progression, training becomes efficient and skills transfer naturally into match play. Environment and safety. The effectiveness of training is also shaped by the environment in which drills take place. Facilities and equipment can support performance, but the absence of ideal conditions should not prevent meaningful practice. What truly matters is how space is organized and how training is structured. The coach must ensure that the court is safe and functional. This includes clear playing areas, stable surfaces, adequate lighting, and equipment that is accessible and in good condition. Any potential risk, such as loose floor panels, exposed walls, or cluttered sideline areas, should be corrected before training begins. Environmental considerations also include adaptability. Not every gym offers perfect space, but well-designed drills with clear objectives can still achieve high training value. When drills are logically organized and the flow is controlled, learning remains effective regardless of facility limitations. In summary, the training environment must allow athletes to focus fully on execution. A secure, organized, and functional setting supports learning, promotes confidence, and ensures that skills developed in practice can be performed reliably in competition. Congratulations! You have completed this module in your coaching development journey. As we close, remember that developing effective drills is not just about organizing repetitions. It is about designing meaningful experiences that connect training to the real demands of competition. Athletes progress when training has purpose, when each drill reflects the rhythms, pressures, and decisions they will face on the court. Quality must always outweigh quantity. A well-structured drill reinforces technical execution, organizes tactical coordination, and strengthens communication and anticipation under stress. The goal is not simply produce correct movements, but to shape players who can recognize, decide, and execute in real time. This is what transforms technique into performance. And looking ahead, in Module 2, we will take the next step by building practical training plans together. We will work hands-on, assembling drills, progressions, and competitive frameworks that align with your coaching model. So stay attentive. The work will now shift from understanding to applying, from repetition to strategy, from planning to execution, from training to performance.